Good morning. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's doing well, feeling well. Let's come on into, let's go into our backs actually. Let's start on our back this morning. You can, if you have blocks or you'd like to use something underneath your heart to get a little heart opener here, you can go ahead and use that. If you don't have a block, a pillow or a rolled up sweatshirt or something can work under here as well. It feels nice to have something under your head as well. My other block is somewhere else, so I'm going to just use a pillow there. Just to support the back of the head and the neck a little bit. This one's kind of squishy, but that's all right. It'll give me a little bit of support. So come on to a comfortable place. And if blocks don't feel comfortable to you, then just come flat onto your back. Open up your feet wide, taking up a little space on your mat. Let your arms come by your side. They can be either close or a little bit away from your body. And just let everything start to settle onto the mat. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and let that exhale really soften. Let your body get a little heavier. And just start to let your physical body arrive and settle. Take a few rounds of breath, watching it come in and out. In and out through the nose after that first exhale or two through the mouth. And just watching the cycle of breath, sending some of it to your extremities and sending some of it to the top of your head to help quiet the thoughts and help settle the mind. You just notice how the body's feeling. Try to relax the muscles on your face. I just realized my volume is probably not up. You guys can hear me okay? Relax the jaw. Just notice if you're clenching anywhere. We'll take about 5 more rounds of breath here. Take one more full inhale. Nice long exhale. And then next breath in, sweep the arms overhead and then exhale them through to your heart center. And we'll set our intention while we're lying here on our back. So your intention or your focus of your thoughts or maybe a dedication, sending your thoughts and energies out towards someone. And just see what comes up this morning and try to really see it clearly, whether it's a word, a phrase, a mantra, or a person you're sending your thoughts to. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and release your hands. If you have a block or pillows, just roll to one side and remove them. And just throw them to the side. And come on back down to your back. We'll start with a little hip and hamstring opening here. So hug both knees into your chest. Give a nice tight squeeze, maybe a little rock side to side. Find the corners of your lower back. And then send both feet straight up to the sky, sort of like our legs up pose that we do at the end. Flex strongly through both heels. Now your feet might be straight up. Some of you, if your hamstrings are tight, might be a little bit more open. And if you are able, start to bring both legs toward your face, toward the earth. You can bring your hands to the sides of your legs and just gently, don't pull. We don't want to strain anything, but just start to see how your legs are feeling. So I get to right about here, and that's when I start to feel the muscles start to resist against me. So I'm just going to pause there. Maybe you even can interlace your hands and just kind of let them rest. And just let gravity start to take your legs a little closer toward your body without forcing anything, just breathing and just slowly starting to lengthen. Keep the flex as much as you can through the heels, The toes are pointing back toward your face. So if your legs are relaxed here, then you're probably not feeling a lot. So the more you flex the heels, the longer the sensation, and also you'll feel it all the way down your legs, all the way through the calves to the Achilles. Take another breath here, and then release, hug both knees in, and then we'll take one at a time. So send the left leg long, keep the right knee hugged into your chest, and you can either, if it feels okay on your body and the lower back and the hip, keep that leg long. Otherwise, you can bend it, and that might relieve a little tension or strain in the lower back if there is any. So either way, if your leg is extended, keep a gentle flex in those left toes, so it's not opening to the left if that's the natural tendency, but keep the toes pointing up toward the sky. And then send that right heel straight up. Interlace the hands. If you have a strap or a towel or any kind of piece of clothing, I don't have anything near me, but you can drape it over your big toe and use that as a strap in each side of the hand. If you don't, just interlace your hands behind your thigh, behind your knee, behind your calf. Depends on how close or how far that leg is from your body. So just taking it nice and slowly here, moving the leg at your pace, or it's not really moving, but very, very slow increments. It's getting a little closer. Again, keeping a strong flex in that right heel. And as much as you can, let the shoulders and the back body get heavy onto the earth. It's natural that if your hands are reaching up, your shoulders come off the mat, but see if you can let them come back a little bit, get a little heavier so that your upper body is all relaxed and you're really focusing just on that right leg, hamstring and calf. You can soften everything on your face. You can let your eyes close here if that's comfortable for you. And come back into your breath. Take another 2 rounds of breath here. And then we're going to take this right leg all the way out to the right. So you can either grab the big toe with your peace fingers, the outer edge of that foot as it starts to come out, or maybe the right hand just comes anywhere on that right edge of the leg as it comes out. You can use that arm as a kickstand. Just bend, place the whole top of the arm, bend the elbow, and let the leg come out to your degree. Take that left hand and let it drape gently on the left hip to prevent it from rolling up, to try to remind you to keep that grounded. And so to your degree, opening up, keep the flex in that right foot, pointing the toes toward the top of your mat in whatever degree you're open to. Again, try and keep the shoulders and the back body soft. Take another full breath. And then go ahead and release. You can bend the knee so there's no strain as you bring it back up to center. Come back to the center where we started. The foot is flexed. And then we're going to turn the whole leg and the toes out to the right to about 2 o'clock. So your knee starts to turn, the inner thigh opens, and then we're going to take that whole entire leg and move it to the left. Okay, so the toes are pointing to the right, the whole leg moves to the left about 4 to 6 inches, so it's not a big movement. If your leg's all the way down here, then you're missing this pose. So this is to get into the IT band. You have to flex that heel and just very small, like I said, 4 to 6 inches is only about, you can see my hands, only about that much. Move the leg. You can keep the hands interlaced. And if you're not feeling anything, if you're one of the few people that don't have tight IT bands, try moving the whole leg toward your body a little bit. Flex the toes as much as you can, or flex the heel, sorry, the toes pointing toward the face. And you should feel that outer right area of the leg from the hip all the way down to the outer knee. That's the IT band. That long rubber band like tendon that connects. Take another breath here and then release that. Hug the knee into your chest, bend it, and then drop that knee all the way over to the left for a spinal twist. You can keep that leg bent. You can extend it long. If that feels good, you might get a little bit more stretch out through the outer right hip there. And if it feels okay, bring your gaze and your right arm out to the right. Try to get that right shoulder grounded. And just take a few deep breaths here. Take another inhale. And then release as you come back to center. Hug both knees into your chest. Just give them a nice squeeze. And we'll take the other side. So you can either stretch that right leg all the way long, or maybe you bend it. Place the sole of the foot flat so you relieve any tension or strain. If the hamstrings are very tight, you're going to want to bend that leg. And then send that left heel to the sky, flexing strongly, toes pointing back to the face. Interlace the hands behind the thigh, behind the knee, behind the calf, wherever your body allows. Let the shoulders get heavy again onto your mat. Soften the face and just come into your breath for a few rounds. If your right leg is extended, keep a gentle flex in those toes as well. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. Then that second exhale, we'll start to bring that left leg all the way out. So again, you can grab the big toes with the peace fingers if you are able to. You can bring your hand to the outer edge of that left foot, or bring that whole arm down and let it be a kickstand for that left leg coming out to your degree. The right hand resting gently on that right hip, just reminding it to stay grounded. Try to keep the shoulders heavy. Take a few rounds of breath here, just opening up through that inner thigh, continuing to lengthen through the hamstring. Take another full breath. And then bend the knee into your chest, come back to center, send that heel back up, and we'll take our IT stretch on the left. So now turning your toes and the whole leg out to the left. So the toes point to maybe 10 o'clock, and then you're going to take that whole leg over to the right, 4 to 6 inches. You can interlace the hands, maybe move the leg a little closer toward your body. But the key here is making sure you keep that foot flexed. If the foot's not flexed, you may not be feeling a lot. So make sure you keep that strong flex through the heel. That's going to engage everything through that leg. And as much as you can, softening the upper body, softening the face and the jaw. Take one more full breath. And then go ahead and release, hug that knee into the chest again, and we'll take our spinal twist, drop that left knee over to the right. You can keep it bent or you can extend it long if that feels okay. Take your left arm and your gaze to the left. Take a few deep breaths here, softening. Take another full breath, and then bend that knee back into your chest. Come back to center, hug both knees in. Nice tight squeeze. Take a few circles in each direction. Just using your own body and gravity to gently massage out that lower spine. And then if it's okay on your back, take a few rocks forward and back over the length of your spine. Coming all the way up. Cross over the ankles and knees, and then come right into your downward facing dog. So come into your inverted V, and let's walk this out a few times, taking a bend through one leg, lengthening the opposite. This should feel a little more easeful than it might normally in your first downward dog after we just did all that hamstring lengthening. Grounding through the palms, noticing where the weight is distributed from the fingertips all the way through the heel of the hand. So the fingertips down through the ball joint of the hand where the fingers and the palm meet, and then down through the heel of the hand. And then walk your feet a little closer toward one another at the back of your mat. With an inhale, take the right leg high, flex the heel, keep lengthening as you lift. And then go ahead and stack that right hip on top of left. You can bend the right knee. Try to keep the hips square. It's natural that they kind of want to open. See if you can square the hips and really just focus on opening the lower body. So dropping that right shoulder, dropping that left heel maybe a little closer toward the earth. Take another inhale, and then as you exhale, release and bring that right foot back to meet the left. Take a breath here. And then next inhale, take the left leg high, float it up. Flex through the heel first and lengthen as much as you can. And then go ahead and open it up. Stack your left hip on top of the right. And again, drop that left shoulder so you're really opening through the lower body. Get heavy through that right heel. Another breath in. And then exhale, release. Bring that left foot to meet the right. Take another full breath in your downward dog. And then drop the knees. Bring the hands back by your heels. Come into a child's pose and give your shoulders a little rest. Bring your forehead to the earth. And just take a nice full deep breath. Let the shoulders drop toward the earth, getting a little heavier. Take another full breath here. Come on back up. Come back into your downward facing dog. Take an inhale and an exhale, and then inhale, hinge forward to your high plank. So you know your plank can be full high plank, or you can modify many ways for your practice, dropping your knees and toes, dropping just your knees. Maybe you come down to forearms. I might come into forearm plank today. My elbow is bothering me a little bit. So either wherever you are in your plank variation, come into your strength, come into your breath, engage your quads if your knees are lifted. Let your gaze fall sort of toward the front edge of your mat. So you don't want your head lifted. You don't want to strain the neck, and you also don't want to drop all the way back. So just nice and even. Take another breath here. If you happen to be on forearms like me, come back up to your full plank, and then inhale your hips back up to your downward facing dog. Take a breath in, and a nice breath out. And then inhale, come forward again, high plank, 3 breaths this time. Just starting to build that internal heat, that muscle energy. Make sure your feet are at least hips width at the back of your mat. You don't want them as wide as your mat, but you also don't want them touching. So just take a glance back and make sure. Take one more inhale, exhale, and then next inhale, lift the hips back up to your downward facing dog. And then walk your hands all the way back to meet your feet, the back of your mat. Come on into a rag doll. You can readjust your feet if you need to bring them a little bit wider. Grab opposite elbows, drop the crown of the head, and take a few breaths here. Again, this hopefully feels a little more easeful than your first forward fold normally does. You can sway a little bit or just breathe in stillness, letting the whole back body just release toward the earth. Take another full breath here. And then release the arms, and we'll walk them forward back to the front of our mat, coming back into our downward facing dog. So lifting the hips, dropping the heels, grounding through the palms. With your next inhale, hinge forward, high plank. This time we're going to take it halfway to our chaturanga. So rotating the elbow crease to the front of the room, hinge forward just a snitch, come halfway, inhale back up, come back to your downward facing dog. Full breath in and out here. Next inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Exhale halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can modify this, you know, for any way that fits your practice this morning. Next inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Exhale halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, high plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Next time, inhale, hinge forward. This time, exhale, chaturanga. and come all the way down to your belly. We'll come into our Cobra, pressing the tops of the feet, engaging the legs, bring the shoulders together on your back, and then lift from your heart center. You can keep your hands on or off the mat for this first one. Sometimes for this first one, it helps to lift the hands and really feel the back body working here. Take another breath in, bring the hands back down if they're lifted, and either come a little bit higher into your Cobra or scooch the hips forward, come into either high Cobra or upward facing dog for one more breath, and then slowly take it all the way back to your downward facing dog. Take an inhale, and open mouth exhale. Another full breath. And next, inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Halfway, chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend, Cobra or upward facing. And exhale it all back, downward facing dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, halfway. Inhale, lift. And exhale, send the hips back. Full breath in, full breath out. One more time through. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, and exhale. Full breath in, full breath out. And then with empty lungs, look forward, walk your feet forward to meet your hands. And with bent knees, roll yourself to stand nice and slowly. Letting one vertebrae stack on top of the other as you come all the way to stand. Letting the head come up last. Coming to your Tadasana, your mountain pose at the front of your mat. Tall, strong, sturdy, soft. Take an inhale, sweep high. And exhale, bring the hands together through heart center. Bend the knees, drop the hips, come into your Utkatasana. So bending the knees, sending the weight down and back, so you should be able to see your toes when you glance down. I'll turn back this way. So squeezing the inner thighs toward one another, sending the weight back as much as you can without falling. So the toes are light, heels are heavy. And then a tiny lift through the heart. So we're not in a skiing pose here, but the chest is a little bit lifted. You can keep the hands together at the heart center, or you can send them high. I'm going to keep mine at my heart for 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale, and then exhale, release to your fold. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen. And exhale, place the hands, step back. You can take your vinyasa, high plank to low, or you can go right to your downward facing dog. We just did a bunch of push-ups. If you want a little breather, no one will know but you. So you do what works best. When you get to your downward dog, let's inhale together, take the right leg high. Exhale it forward, come into your crescent lunge. So grounding through both feet. You might want to readjust your feet before you come up so they're hips width. Ground through that right heel, come all the way up. Let's start with the hands at our waist. And then ground through that right heel to help guide the right hip back just a little bit, squaring the hips toward the front of the mat. Strengthen that back leg, or option to drop the lower knee, drop the back knee as well. Either way, squaring the rib cage and the shoulders and the gaze. And then when you're sturdy and ready, send the arms high. Maybe send the gaze high. Melt down through the shoulders, melt down through the hips. Take 3 deep breaths. At the end of your third exhale, release and send that right foot straight up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Inhale, exhale it back down. Take a full breath here, in and out. And the next inhale, take the right leg, left leg high, opposite leg. Exhale it forward. And get ready to come up into your crescent lunge on the left. So positioning your feet, grounding through that left heel. Come on up. Steady yourself. Find strength in that back leg if it's lifted. Ground through that left heel to square the hips. When you're ready, send the arms and the gaze. Melt down through the shoulders and the hips. 2 more full breaths. And if your third, exhale, release the hands. Send that left foot straight up to the sky, three-legged dog. Inhale. And exhale, release it down. Full breath in, full breath out. 2 more rounds of breath here. You know, of course, you can always drop to your table, or you can come down to child's pose as a rest anytime, not only when we're in downward dog, but you guys know that. Take another inhale and a nice long exhale. And at the end of that exhale, look forward. Walk, step, or jump, feet to hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. And exhale to stand. Beautiful. Next inhale, come back to your Utkatasana. 1 breath, inhale, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, place the hands, step back, high plank to low. Inhale, lifting the heart, Cobra, upward facing. Exhale it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, take the right leg high. Exhale it forward. Ground the outer edge of that back foot for warrior 1. And then inhale, come on up. Settle down, squaring your torso and gaze forward. Grounding the outer edge of that back foot. And still grounding through that right heel to bring the muscle energy to that right leg and right hip, guiding it back just a little. Take another inhale, and then exhale, release the hands, interlace them. We're going to humble our warrior. So you can interlace the hands or just grab the back of your shirt or your clothing. Take an inhale as you squeeze the shoulder blades and lift the heart, and then exhale, lead with the heart. Keep guiding that right hip back as much as you can to keep it square as you come down into your humble warrior. Ribcage comes inside that right leg. Drop the crown of the head, drop the gaze to the back of the mat, and then drop your hands overhead to your degree. And then come back to that right heel. Ground into that right heel to guide the right hip back. So if you have anything nearby, you could balance it right on the back of your hips there. Take 2 more breaths here. Remove that block. And then exhale, release the hands. Sweep all the way back up. Pivot onto the ball joint of that back foot, back into your crescent. Take an inhale. And then exhale the hands together through heart center. Take a twist to the right. You can drop the knee and then drop left elbow over right. I like to come into that way. It gives me a little bit more stability. And then you can always come back into the lunge. And then, you know, a lot of options here. You can open up the arms. You can take any kind of bind, a half bind or a full bind. Find whichever version of the pose works best for you this morning. I'm going to come back down to that knee and just press my palms into one another, twisting through the spine, the rib cage, wringing out everything in the center of the body, all those major organs. Breathing as deeply as I can. 2 more breaths here. Into that second exhale, release, come back to center, come back up to your crescent. Send the arms high, lift the heart, take an inhale, and then exhale, release the hands. Send that right foot straight up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Inhale, and exhale, release it down. Take a nice full breath in and out in your downward dog. And the next inhale, take the left leg high. Exhale it forward. Warrior 1 on the left, so grounding that outer edge of that right foot. Inhale, come on up for warrior 1. Just settle in, squaring your torso, grounding through that outer edge of the right foot. Settling the gaze. Take another inhale. And then exhale, release the hands. Find the opposite interlace. So whichever one you didn't do, change up the grip. And then squeeze the shoulder blades. Lift the heart. Inhale. And start to come on down to humble your warrior as you exhale. Leading with the heart. Rib cage maybe comes inside that left leg. And then keep grounding through that left heel. Guiding the left hip back. Eventually you drop the crown of the head and drop the gaze. Drop the arms overhead. Settling in and breathing. Take one more full breath here. And then release the arms. Come on back up. Pivot onto the ball joint of that back foot. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale, bring the hands together through heart center. And we'll take our prayer twist to the left. Again, coming right into it or dropping the back knee, pressing the palms together. Maybe you come back into your lunge. Maybe opening up the arms or some other kind of bind. So you take what works. Each side can be different. Our bodies are not exactly built equally from side to side. And whichever one is our dominant one, of course, affects everything. So you're going to be tighter on one side, looser on one side, easier to balance, harder to balance. So just try to steady your gaze. Take 2 more deep breaths. At the end of that next exhale, release whatever bind you have. Come back to center. Come back up to your crescent. Lift the heart and inhale. And then exhale, release it all down. Send that left foot straight up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Inhale and just yawn it up, lengthen. And exhale, bring it all the way back down. Take 3 deep breaths in anywhere that provides a reset and a rest for you. Child's table or downward facing dog. Grab some water if you have nearby. It's really going to be hot and muggy today, so make sure you hydrate well all day. And then let's make our way back into our downward facing dog. So come on back in. Take a full deep breath in and out. And then let's inhale, take the right leg high. Exhale it forward, warrior 1. Inhale up. Exhale, open it to your warrior 2. I'm just going to turn to face you guys. Let's just take a few breaths in our first warrior 2. Just glancing down to check your alignment. Make sure that right knee's tracking to the right. Sending the arms nice and strong all the way through the fingertips. The arms aren't just like hanging out here, but they're really engaged. But soften down through the shoulders. Make sure you're not hunched up here either. And then just let the gaze settle over that right hand. Take a few more deep breaths. When you start to feel that front leg tiring, bring your awareness to your back leg. The back leg's working just as hard, but we feel it more in our front because we're thinking about that. So bring your awareness to that back leg and see how that changes the pose for you. 2 more breaths. And then that second exhale, then go ahead and lengthen that front leg, reverse, and lengthen through the side body. Take another inhale here, and then we'll come right into our triangle. So keep that length on the right side body, send your hips to the back of the room. Send that torso and the right fingertips forward as far as you can take it, and then drop the fingertips. Make sure you keep a micro bend in that right knee. Don't lock out the joint, left fingertips come high. If you have a block, this is a great place for a little support outside that right foot. Just give yourself a little bit more length. And then as much as you can, twist open through the rib cage and the heart. Opening up, and just let your gaze settle wherever your neck is comfortable. It can be up, it can be straight ahead, it can be down. Take 3 more breaths here. And take 1 more inhale. And then we'll take this right into our balance. So bring the left hand to the left hip. Bring the gaze down to the right foot and bend into that right knee. If you have a block here, then you're already set for the next place. We're going to step the back foot in a little bit and start to bring the weight forward into our right hand. If you don't have a block, come to tented fingertips or to a fist. And then start to shift the weight, balancing on that right hand and right foot, lifting the back leg, flex through that left foot, and then trying to turn open through the torso so the hips and the rib cage and the heart are opening, and then send the left fingertips high if you want. Otherwise, they stay on your back body. They don't have to come high. That's just a little added. Letting your gaze settle. Take another breath in. And then exhale, release everything back to your lunge. Come back to your warrior two. Settle back in. Take an inhale. Bring the arms high and lengthen. Exhale, release back into your lunge. Inhale, come high. Exhale, and lunge. Inhale, come high. And then turn both toes. So turning the right toes in. The left toes maybe turn in a little bit more. So you're in a wide-legged stance. And then inhale everything tall. With the exhale, we'll just kind of come through heart center to come down to our fold. Your hands can come right underneath your gaze, or you can walk them wide. They can grab the outer edges of your feet or your big toes. Drop the crown of the head. Lift the tailbone. Ground through the heels. Take another full deep breath. And then bring the hands underneath the gaze. Lift halfway and lengthening through the spine. Bring the hands to the hips or to the waist. Inhale, come all the way high. And then turn the right toes back toward the front. Step the back foot up to meet them. Come all the way to the front of the mat. Inhale the arms high. And exhale through heart center. Just pause. In your Tadasana, you can close the eyes. Take an inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Just notice how your body feels. I can feel the difference on my right side to my left, that we did all that opening work on the right. And feels a little tingly, a little more open. And we'll take it to the left. So next inhale, take the arms high. Inhale. This time as you exhale, swan dive. Come down to your fold. Turn back this way. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen. And exhale, step it back. Take your high plank to low, or you can take it right to your downward facing dog. Together from downward dog, let's inhale and take the left leg high. Exhale it forward, warrior one. Ground down, inhale high. And then exhale, open it to warrior two. Again, settling in, checking your alignment. Engaging that left heel. And then let the gaze settle out over that left middle finger, softening down through the shoulders. Take a few more deep breaths. And again, when you start to get weary in that left thigh, bring your awareness to the back leg. Make sure that one's working just as hard. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. And then we'll lengthen that front leg. Inhale and reverse. Lengthening through the left side body. Take another inhale. Keeping the length on that left side as we transition to our Trikonasana Triangle. Shift the hips to the back of the room. Shift the torso and those left fingertips forward to as far as they can go, and then drop into your pose. Come up a little bit higher here. And again, making sure that this left quad is engaged, protecting that kneecap. And opening up your 5-pointed star, your hands, your feet, and the crown of your head while opening in each direction. And then twisting the rib cage and the heart open toward the side of the room. Take 2 more breaths here. Another full inhale. And with the exhale, bring the right hand to the right hip, and we'll start to transition to our balance. Bring the gaze to that left foot. Start to bend that left knee and step the back foot in. We'll start to shift the weight forward, either tented fingertips or a block. Start to lift the back leg, flex through the heel, toes pointing back toward your face, and then as much as you can, twisting open through the center of the body. And maybe those right fingertips come high. Settling the gaze, filling the breath, 2 more breaths. With that second exhale, we'll release and come back to our lunge. Come back into our warrior two. Settle in. And the next inhale, bring the arms high as you lengthen that front leg. Exhale back into your lunge. Inhale, come center. Exhale and lunge. Inhale, come center. And then we'll turn to our wide-legged stance again. Bring that, you can bring the hands to your hips for now. Let's turn the toes out and heels in this time, coming into our goddess pose. So as you bend your knees to come down, you want to make sure your legs are wide enough. If they're too narrow and your knees go over your heels, you're putting too much strain on those joints there. So make sure you still stay wide enough. Oops. Find your balance. So dropping the tailbone straight down. You want to make sure, if you can see yourself from the side, that you're not sticking the tailbone out and you're not over tucking it either. You just want to come right down nice and neutral. Bring the hands to the heart center. Take a few deep breaths here. Softening, settling, strengthening. And take another inhale, and then we'll release the hands to the tops of the thighs and then hinge forward, dropping a little deeper into the inner thigh and the groin there, and then coming into our shoulder stretch. Drop that left shoulder and take a twist to the right. Take a nice deep full breath. And then come through center. Drop the right shoulder, twist to the left. Really dropping in, seeing if you can feel that stretch all the way through the back of the shoulder blade. Inhale, come back through center. We'll take each side one more time. Drop that left shoulder, twist to the right. Inhale, come back to center and take it to the left. Drop the right shoulder. Come back to center. Inhale, come on back up to your goddess. Lengthen out the legs all the way up. And then exhale, come on back down for 3, 2, 1. And then inhale, come on back up. And then we'll just pivot back to the front of the mat. Step the back foot in to meet the front. Inhale, sweep the arms high. And exhale to swan dive. Inhale, lift halfway and lengthen. And exhale, step back, either vinyasa or right to your downward facing dog. Maybe the last vinyasa for the practice, so if you want it, take it. Take a deep breath in and out in your downward dog. And then with an inhale, hinge forward. And we'll exhale together on 5, coming all the way down. 4, elbows shaving the rib cage. 3, 2, are you still lifted? 1, and come down. I know you are, tall. That's okay. Come on down, let your arms rest by your side. Turn one cheek, take a deep breath in, out through the mouth. Turn the opposite cheek, take another breath in, a nice long breath out. And then we're going to come into a locust pose. So squaring the tops of your feet. I'm going to try to get rid of that. And interlacing the hands on the lower back. When you're ready, take an inhale. Lift the toes and the knuckles to the back of the room. Lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Take 5 deep breaths. 4, 3, 2, take one more inhale, and then exhale, release everything down, turn one cheek, full breath in, and breath out. Come back to center, we'll take one more locust. You can take that same arm variation, you can take the arms out like airplane, or you could pistol lock your fingers toward the front of the room. Or if you practice bow, you could come into bow, make sure that your thighs are square, bend the knees, grab the tops of the feet or the ankles. And when you're ready in either pose, inhale up again for 5, 4, 3, 2, one more inhale, and exhale, gently release. Come all the way back down, turn the opposite cheek. Sway the hips gently side to side, or you can bend the knees and windshield wiper the feet from side to side, just releasing through the lower back. And then just gently pressing yourself all the way back to a child's pose, moving slowly with intention, and then letting the hips get heavy onto the heels, rounding through the lower back, bringing your breath there, bringing some awareness to that space. Two more breaths there in your downward dog. In your child's pose. And we'll just shift our hips to one side, bring the legs out in front, and make our way onto our back. Come on down. We're going to come into Reclined Pigeon. So let's start with the right leg. Cross the right ankle over the left knee, and then lift the leg, thread your arms through, and interlace the hands around the top of that knee, or maybe underneath that left thigh. Keep that right foot flexed. And it's really important to protect that right knee joint. And flex the left foot as well, so you keep some engagement through that whole leg. And then to your degree, you're going to move the whole lower body toward your chest. Some of you might be up high here. Some of you that practice pigeon forward facing might pull the whole lower body a little deeper in. The more you can keep this right knee moving away from your body, the deeper your stretch in that right outer hip will be. Let the shoulders, as much as you can, get heavy onto the earth here, onto your mat. And just take a few deep breaths, softening the face, relaxing, releasing the jaw. And take 3 more breaths here. Really just letting your body soften into the pose. One more inhale. And then with the exhale, release and let that left foot come back down. And then let everything come over to the left. Drop that sole of that right foot all the way down. And if you want a little bit more open, take the left hand and just gently guide that right knee a little closer to vertical. It's going to naturally want to fall toward your body. So by gently guiding it away, you get a little bit more open through the side body. You can bring your gaze and your right arm open to the right. Just a gentle spinal twist and opening through the hip, the high hip and low back area. Take another breath here. And then release. Bring that whole configuration with that cross of your leg back up through center and take it all the way over to the right. So now the right leg comes all the way down. Then you can bring your gaze and that left arm open to the left. Take 2 more breaths on this side. And then release, come back up to center, undo, and we'll take the other side, crossing left ankle over right knee, opening up that left ankle over right knee. I want to make sure I said that correctly. We're taking the opposite side. And let that left knee come open as wide as your body allows, and then interlace the hands around the knee or underneath the leg, flex that left foot, gently flex the right, and then slowly start to bring everything toward your torso to your degree. Staying heavy through the shoulders, soft in the face, maybe closing the eyes and taking a few deep breaths. And take 2 more breaths on this side. That second exhale, gently release. Bring that right foot back down to the mat and then drop the whole cross over to the right. So the sole of that left foot comes down onto the mat. And then bring your gaze and that left arm open to the left. You can take that right hand and just gently guide that left knee a little closer to vertical if you want to get a little bit more open through that hip area. Another full breath. And then release, come back up to center, keeping the cross, and drop everything over to the left. Left leg comes down, and bring your gaze and that right arm open to the right. And you can let that right knee sort of fall toward the earth. Mine doesn't go very far, but some of you may get a little further down. Depends on how your body's built and how it's feeling right now in the lower back. Take 2 more breaths. And into that next exhale, gently come back to center, uncross. Put both knees into your chest. Maybe just a little rocking side to side. And we're just going to come into a bridge pose or 2 before we finish. So drop the knees, drop the feet into your bridge setup. So parallel and about hip distance, walk them in close enough that you just feel the backs of the heels. Take an inhale and imprint the lower back. And then as you exhale, ground down to lift up. Walk the shoulder blades toward one another. Maybe you interlace the hands. Bring the gaze straight up, find the middle of the head. The chin comes away from the chest a little bit. And really engage the quads and the glutes to keep you lifted here. Take 3 more breaths. Keep lifting the hips. At the end of your 3rd exhale, slowly start to walk the shoulder blades apart, coming back down 1 vertebrae at a time, nice and slowly. Bring the soles of the feet together. Open up the knees wide into your Supta Baddha Konasana. Let the arms rest by your sides, or you can let the hands rest on the tops of the thighs, or one on the heart and one on the belly. Whatever allows your body to find that softness and that ease and that comfort. Another breath in. And then using your hands on the outside of your legs, guiding the knees back together, hug them into your chest, and then we'll come into an inversion. So you can send the feet straight up for legs up. Again, any of you that have a block or a pillow underneath the lower back is just a great way to get the hips a little bit higher. If you practice shoulder stand, you want to come into that safely, come into plow first. And you can bring the hands walking high onto the backs of the shoulders, and then sending 1 leg at a time straight up to the sky. About 10 breaths in either pose. Of course, if you practice some other inversion, 10 breaths there. Headstand, handstand, forearm balance. And if you're in a shoulder stand, starting to make your way out, coming back through to plow. If you're in legs up, you can stay there for another breath or 2, or if you want to come through plow, bring the feet overhead behind. And just take a breath or 2 here, lengthening out through the back of the neck. And then you can reverse that by coming into your fish pose, hands underneath the backs of the hips, forearms on the earth, and then lifting the heart as you drop the head back, reversing that curvature in the cervical spine, opening up through the front of the throat. Take another breath in, and then release everything down, preparing to come into your Shavasana. Extending the legs long, opening to the corners of the mat. Arms come by the sides. Your palms can face up as a sign of openness, or maybe they face down today as a sign of introspection. And see which one feels more comfortable to your body and your thoughts and your head today. And then take a deep inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. And do that again. Inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. Just let that deep exhale soften your body, letting it melt and dissolve onto your mat. And then just doing a quick body scan, making sure that everything is releasing and relaxing. The muscles on the face, the cheeks and the jaw, shoulders are heavy. Arms are relaxed, the elbows, the backs of the hands are heavy on the earth. Backs of the shoulder blades and the backs of the hips. The quads and the glutes are relaxed. The backs of the calves and the heels, all resting. And starting to bring some awareness back to your breath and your physical body. Some gentle movements with your fingers and toes. With your next inhale, lengthening the arms overhead, stretching everything out long. With the exhale, hugging everything in tight. Make a nice little ball. Squeeze everything in. And drop the knees to one side. Maybe use the arm under the head as a pillow as you take one more deep, full breath. And making your way back up to a comfortable seat. Bring the hands together at the heart center. And with the next breath or two, bring back to mind our attention or dedication. Really breathing it in, seeing it clearly, and then sending it out to share that exhale. And let's honor those thoughts. Bring our hands to our crown, to our throats, honoring our words, to our hearts, honoring our souls and the light that shines in each one of us. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.